Max, he lands on the island. The wild things, they come out to meet him at the boat. They roar terrible roars. They gnash terrible teeth. And they show terrible claws. And Max says, "Stop! I'm the king of all the wild things." So where is that wild thing? Do we see him? Mm-hmm. I think you should start by looking for two great big eyes. I think some of you already see that wild thing. One great big eye. Two great big eyes. There's his nose. That mouth full of gnarly teeth. And then that long scratchy beard. Now do we all see that wild thing? There's our wild thing. All right, so we made it to the end of the story. Max is tired, he's lonely, he's ready to go home where he's loved best of all. So he hops back on that boat, sails across the sea, days and weeks and months, and eventually he arrives at home and he finds his supper waiting for him. And it's still hot. Now, I can't promise that all of you will walk in the door tonight and find your supper waiting on you. But I can promise that we're about to see some more of this amazing cave. Here we go. They were also reminded of something. What do you think they saw? Battleship, that's right. Those battleships that they had crossed the Atlantic and the Pacific on not so many years ago. So we continue to call that the U.S. battleship, to remember those who served and then came home and did lots and lots of hard work here. All right. Now, before we leave this spot, you guys, I want to make sure we talk about the calcite. The calcite that makes all these formations that we're seeing today. You guys see these rope columns behind me? Mm-hmm. So those are 16 and 18 feet in length. Again, all these formations are made of calcite. That calcite is very soft, very fragile. If you had a small piece of that calcite in your hand, you could easily scrawl your name on the concrete with that stuff. All right, it's also very heavy. If you had 1 gallon bucket of calcite, it would take 3 gallon buckets of water to be the same weight. So it's 3 times heavier than water by volume. So it's heavy and very fragile. But you and I, we're all standing right here together and we can see that those rope columns are unbroken. Now there was a massive earthquake that happened very near here in 1811. It was called the New Madrid earthquake. Now that earthquake, you guys, was so powerful that church bells in Boston, Massachusetts rang. The Mississippi River near New Orleans ran backwards for several days. But we're, again, standing right here together, looking up there at those fragile columns. They're not broken. What does that mean? that means this cave is a very safe place. So those S-waves that do all the damage during earthquakes, they only go about 50 feet underground. Right now, we're well over 200 feet below the ground. So the only place safer that you can be during an earthquake is in an airplane. All right, so here we go, you guys. We're gonna this is our last stop in the cathedral room. Before we leave, I want to make sure that we all check out these formations right here. Do we see the ones that look like they're just about touching? We all see that? All right, so geologists, those scientists who study rocks, they can grow this calcite in a lab, dripping water through limestone, through the cracks and the crevices in the limestone. So they can grow about 1 square inch. For every 100 years. So that's probably not nearly so close to touching as we had all hoped, right? So I want you guys to make me a promise right now. Y'all come back and see us in 3, maybe 500 years. All right, don't forget, someone has to text me and tell me if that's finally touching. It's going to be so amazing. I don't want to miss it. Don't forget, I feel like someone's going to forget me. Someone has to remember.
I'll put a calendar event.
Thank you. All right, so you probably also saw that blue light up on the hill on your right. So that blue light, that marks the passageway that those explorers used to have to take into the next room in the cave. You guys, the Forest Service said, no way, that's not acceptable. If that's the route, they would have had to put in maybe as many as 100 stair steps. So that means lots and lots of families don't get to see this cave. All the families who have kiddos that need to use a stroller, or loved ones that need to use a walker or a wheelchair. All those folks left out of the cave. So instead, the Forest Service made a tunnel. You guys, we're going to go into that tunnel. We're going to go about halfway down and stop in front of a gray door. And we're going to talk more about that tunnel in just a minute. All right, as we approach the tunnel, stick to your right. Okay, here we go. We are at the gray door. Now I know that as a guide here at Blanchard Springs, I should not have a favorite part of the tour. So sad. I have a favorite part. This is it. This is where I get to ask all the kiddos that are with us today what y'all think is behind this gray door. Before you answer, a couple things. This might really help your answers. All right. So y'all listen. All right. I'm expecting nothing less from this group right here. What do you think? What's behind this gray door? Any one of you? What's behind this gray door, buddy? People. I love it. What do you think? You don't have to think you. What do you think? What's behind the door? Metal. You said metal, right? What do you think? Dynamite. What? Diamonds. I love it. All right. Any guesses? What do you think?
Another cave.
Another cave. You got a
I was
guess?
gonna say the same thing.
Same thing, okay. All right, so I had one. What about you? I missed you. Either one of you.
Grave door, dead bodies.
What? Dead bodies? Dead bodies. What? No, you don't have a guess? All right, so I had one person that guessed diamonds. So I'm going to go ahead and designate someone right now. You, sir. If I look behind this door and find diamonds, you take the group out of the cave. I'll rejoin you guys later. We're going to mention nothing of this. Got it? Are we all together? Should I get you to sign a piece of paper? I feel like maybe I should. All right, so it's not diamonds, I'm afraid. Are we ready to know what's behind this gray door?
Sure.
I don't know if you are ready. So it is actually the world's tallest. All right, we're going to go ahead and do this right now. We're going to talk about bats for just a minute. You guys, in 1973, before the cave opened to the public, biologists came into the cave, they did a bat count, and they estimated in 1973 there were about 10,000 bats using this cave as a hibernation. Every other year they come in, they do a bat count. Just this past winter, there were biologists in the cave, they did another bat count. So I'm curious, do you guys think there were fewer than 10,000 bats at this last count? If you think there were fewer than 10,000 bats, I want you guys to raise your hands. I got a few brave souls. I'd say three, four, three, one on the fence. All right, if you think there were more than 10,000 bats, you guys raise those hands high and proud. My people. I love it. A lot of optimism. All right, so there were many more bats than 10,000. In fact, they counted almost 500,000. Most of our bats are gray bats. Those gray bats are endangered. Their body is about the size of an adult thumb. We have lots of kiddos with us today. You put your two thumbs together, just spread your fingers wide. That's about how big our bats are. For us, what's important about those bats, for me anyway, those bats, they fly out into the forest every night. They feed on M&Ms, moths, and mosquitoes. Every night, those little bats, about the size of your thumb, can eat as many as 3,000 mosquitoes per bat per night. So if you don't like mosquitoes, that means you absolutely love bats. Now, it hasn't all been good news for our bats. They've also been infected with a fungus. It's called the white nose syndrome. That fungus, it bothers the bats when they come into the cave for hibernation. That fungus starts to grow around their nose. And what happens is it itches the bats so much that it wakes them from hibernation. Those little bats, they wake from hibernation, they fly off into the forest in the middle of winter to eat all those mosquitoes. There are no mosquitoes, so they can die from starvation and exhaustion. All right? All that means for us is that the Forest Service knows that we have that fungus in the cave. We might have picked up some of those spores on our shoes as we walk through today. So they ask that everyone walks across the mats. I say across the mats for the bats. On those mats, we have poured Woolite laundry detergent and water. That simple soapy solution is all it takes to kill that fungus, so we don't continue to spread it and harm more bats. All right, it's very important. All right, last stop, soda straw. Here we go. Here we are in the soap straw room. We're only about 90 feet from the surface right here. This is a very active part of the cave. You guys see those hundreds of thousands of soda straws? Almost each and every one has a drop of water hanging from the end. All right, now right here along this rail, that is a great place for you guys to take those pictures. If you want pictures, someone has to be first. Don't be shy. I'll be happy to help you guys take those pictures. You're gonna follow me out of the cave. Whoever's in the back, if you would, close those glass doors behind us. When we get on the bus, we've been on wet concrete for an hour. There are a few small steps getting on the bus. Watch your step. Be careful getting on the bus. I don't want anyone to slip. Also, the door onto the bus, there's a low bar. If you were taller than me, watch your head getting onto, getting off of the bus. Smack your head, end up with a headache the rest of the day. That's awful. Let's don't do that. This is a small group. Everyone does have to have a seat though. Once we get on the bus, have a seat, remain seated all the way back to the visitor center. Oh, if you're wearing glasses, when we walk out the door, your glasses are probably going to fog over. Be aware. All right, here we go.
It's hot. I think I'd rather stay in there. Y'all come check out Blanchard Caves and around Mountain View, Arkansas. Awesome people, Forest Service doing a great job. Y'all check them out. Stay safe, hunt hard. God bless.